So James, you've got the pyramid for excellence. What are some practical ways that our listeners can implement this model in their companies?
Well, first thing I think, and I've already talked about it a bit, is make sure you get your senior leaders on board.
Mhm.
Okay, if you've got that, they won't, once they see that there's such a big prize, they won't let you off the hook. So, as say a maintenance manager, or an asset manager, you probably won't welcome all that pressure, but you will get better results if somebody's riding your tail all the time. So I think having that senior level support is a key. A key thing, and the other thing is find a model and settle on it and follow it. And I like the Uptime one. Obviously, it works. It's been in use for well over, I guess, about a quarter of a century now. Come to think of it, and it's been quite successful. So it's relatively simple, easy to remember, and quite logical to follow. So I think have some model that you're going to follow. Talk to first of all, understand what good looks like. You need, and I find with a lot of companies, there's a lack of knowledge of what good looks like in terms of maintenance practices. They just haven't seen it. And if they're in a bad state themselves, a lot of people have been there for a long time, they think it's normal.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is start with some training. I actually train people in the Uptime model. It's just a couple of days. To give them an idea of what good practices are. Usually a lot of discussion, a lot of ideas being raised. As you're talking, people are having ideas as to what they can change. And I actually have them write it down on little Post-it notes, believe it or not. One idea per note is the way I do it. And as we go through the course, these ideas collect, they gather up. And at the end of it, what I like to do is take those ideas and put them on a whiteboard or on a sheet of craft paper on the wall. And as I put the ideas up there one at a time, I put them in groups, right? So one group will be whatever the first topic was. Somebody might say, let's do planner training. Okay, there's planner training up there. Somebody else says we need to clean up our storeroom. I'll put that on another spot. Somebody else says we need to teach management how to communicate effectively. That'll go on another spot. Fourth one comes up. It might be another management one. It'll go up with the previous management one. So what I'm doing is building clusters of these ideas. And typically you get on the order of about a dozen of these nice little clusters of ideas, and it's all their ideas. At the end of that exercise, I draw a little circle around them, give them names, and that might be meaningful names like management communications and work management, or sometimes really creative names like A, B, C. Doesn't matter. And then I give them all little red dots, stickies, and I say, go vote for them. Pick the 5 that you think are most important. And they go up there. They're not allowed to put 2 dots on one topic. They have to pick 5. And at the end of it, you'll see very quickly where they see their top priorities are based on their own ideas. What that achieves, it gives them a sense of where they are and where they need to go. It's prioritized the way they see it as being important, and it is based on some newfound knowledge on good practices.
Yeah.
So that is an amazing start on an improvement program. Each of those little clusters, starting with the one that's got the most votes, is a project, and just pick them off one at a time. So it's like eating an elephant, one small bite at a time. You'll eventually get there, and this is how I suggest doing this. Don't expect results super fast. They're going to be at it for a couple of years in all likelihood, and some of the ideas will generate some quick savings and maybe some quick revenue gains. I've got a couple of things I like to do when I'm working with a customer. If they've got a lot of chronic problems, things that they know are real headaches, I come in and do some root cause analysis with them, and we sort of tackle those problems because it frees up resources. It takes their attention away from the panics and allows them to think more proactively.
I love that exercise. I think that's like very, very actionable. And I think also creates a lot of group buy-in as well. So to all of our listeners, like that's a great exercise if you haven't already done that, just to start. It sounds like something that is low effort that we could start, you know, as soon as next week, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, I build it right into the training that I offer. 2 days, at the end of the 2 days, you've learned something. You've got a prioritized list of projects to work on. It looks messy because it's all in their handwriting and on sticky papers, but you know, it is entirely actionable, and it's something that, you know, people will look at and say, holy cow, this stuff isn't all that hard. And it isn't. None of this is rocket science.